YARRRR, me hearties. Hello, it's Captain Blue here over at cgpirates.com. I hope you're all having a fantabulous time. I know I am. Okay, we're getting back to doing the boat. Not a ship, remember? Doesn't have sails, masts, or any of that goodness. Just a boat. So, what we're going to do is work on the oars. And if you've seen oars, you know as well as I do that they're basically sticks. A little bit more to it than that, just to get the shape right, and obviously they're quite important if you consider that we've got a main character who perhaps is going to be seeing them a lot. Oh, look at that. I love it when you do that. You twist them and they go mad. Get back. And again. I forgot, you can't do that. I've got to move the node point. Anyway, ignore me. I'm just going to delete them for the minute. What I need to do is work on the oars, which are going to go in here. Okay, so for that, there's two things I need to build. So I'm going to build a cylinder, and I need to make it round about, let's say about 180. Okay, about the height of a person basically. They're long oars because obviously this is a boat that goes like into the sea and has to get a fair speed going. Now the radius actually is about right, which is 2.24, which is about 2 centimeters. So that'll give it an overall width of about 5. I'll change it to about 2.5 though, just to make it a little bit. Actually no. They'll need to be fairly light, so 2. There we go, that gives it a certain degree of lightness. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the height segments down to 1, and I'm going to right click and convert to editable poly. Now I'm going to tell the new CG Pirates dog off. As you can probably hear, CG Pirates has a lovely new puppy called Pan Pan, to go with CG Pirates' slightly older dog called Pandora, and Pan Pan is bugging the ever-loving crap out of Pandora, because she's a naughty girl. Oh, and there goes the kitten. It's literally like a zoo in here. However, you've got to have a ship's cat and a ship's dog. Now then, what I need to do now is I need to make a shape that kind of goes on to the bottom of our oar. Now, I'm going to Control Z actually, because I want to reduce the sides of this to perhaps 14. I don't want too many sides. There, that looks a bit better. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to do what's known as an isolate. So I'm just going to isolate this, and that means this is the only piece that I've got visible. Now, if I go into one of my side views, so either front or left or right or anywhere else, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this. So I'm going to change this x-axis to 0, and now it's literally right in the middle here. And now I'm going to make a box, and I'm going to have a height of 4, because remember, radius 2. I think I'm going to give it a length of around about 45, that should be long enough, and a width of about 25, okay? Because if it's too wide, then obviously that's weight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this to round about the right height here, and I'm just going to make sure that this is 0, so it's just zeroed in that axis, and I'm going to put in some edges. So I'll put in one width segment, and you can just see that goes there, and then for my length segments I'm going to do maybe 5. Okay, right click, convert to editable polygon. Okay, so why I've done that, well, I want to be able to fit these over that, so I'm going to just double click here, and that'll give me a bigger loop, and then I am going to use my chamfer. So I'll turn subdivision surface down just like that, and we should see my chamfer tool just here, and I'm going to chamfer it until my two edges that I create basically merge with the side there. Okay, that's all there was to it. Then I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to drop into perspective and zoom. Now we can see that these two aren't really lining up very well, are they? It's like 0, 0, 22, 6, 8, 1. Well, that's okay, we can fix that. If we go over here and turn this to 0, you'll see that that's now in the more or less correct position. It actually needs to be a little bit further back, so I'm going to make the Y -2. Okay, so now it's right in the middle. Okay, now what I want to do here is I'm going to select this edge, and I'm going to use a ring and then just hit delete. Okay, they're all gone. Then I'm going to select by element, select this, and get rid of all of them as well. That way I only need to work on one side. Now, as you can probably see, okay, this over here isn't really going to bind very well with this over here. And the reason being that this has many more polygons. So what I'm going to do is just do a little bit of tweaking to this. Now if we look, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new edges to come in here. That's a lot of polygons, but that's okay, because modern game engines mean we can do this. So I'm just going to ring this, and then I'm going to use a connect, and I'm going to increase this to 5 and click tick. Why have I done that? Because I need to kind of bind these pieces together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into here and I'm going to do a ring. So I just need to do a right click, convert to editable poly, and I'm going to create a swift loop. My swift loop is going to be about here. And now what I can do is just adjust it so it's the right height. So just select it and bring it up to about there. Okay, now see this 1, 2, 3, 4 extra edges in here we can get very easily. I'll just put a line straight through the middle there and click connect. Just up this until it matches like that. Okay, right, starting to get somewhere. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out some polygons so that I can start fitting these together. So if I go here and just trim these, okay, you see I've got a great big hole running down here now. Now what I want to do is I need to make a copy of this first, okay, or I can just do it as a half size one. I think I'll just do it the way it is, okay, we can then fix it a bit later on. So I'm going to select this and I am going to attach this, because it's just made from a big carved bit of wood. Sometimes they're made more complicated, but most of the time it's just a carved bit of wood. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go vertex just here, and I'm going to use my target welding tool. And if I zoom in, with target weld selected, I can start clicking. Click once, go to where I'm going, you see a little X appears, and all I'm doing is basically like sewing almost. I'm sewing my model together. Okay, very easy, but a very advanced piece of modeling. So if you've just picked this up, welcome aboard. You've now learnt an advanced piece of modeling. Now, oh, you see that? I'm missing a piece. Now, can you remember what it is we do when that's happened? It's very easy. I just need to select this edge and this edge, and I can just press the bridge button. So let's find where bridge has gone. Close subdivision surface. There we go. There we go, and it's rebuilt my piece, so I don't need to mess around. Now, don't bridge these because you won't have the right amount of polygons for it, you know, and it'll be very hard to make it look right. So what we're going to do is just continue target welding. And just go all the way down on both sides. Now, yes, it can take a few moments to do, okay, but to be honest, it's better to do the job right than to, you know, muck it up. So let's just go in and continue repairing. Well, not even repairing, just continue just doing this. There we go. For some reason I thought it had crashed there, but it hasn't, thankfully, so that's a very good piece of news, isn't it? And then back up this side, you'll see I've got some broken polygons there, but the shading will more or less go back to normal as I go do this. Okay, and you'll see that we've got this kind of one ore going on, which isn't the right amount, but don't worry, we'll fix that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am going to do a swift loop, and I'm going to do it down this edge here. And what I'm going to do is, with that edge selected, so I'll just go to my select by edge, and using a scale, I'm just going to scale it on one side like that, okay? And by doing that, of course, that means that I can start, if I go to my front viewport, I'm going to hit F3 and F4, I can start just making it look more like an oar shape, okay? So I'm going to bring this down, and then over here at the bottom. Okay, a very simple, very basic oar shape, but it works, and that's what we're interested in. Now, what about the edges though that are too wide? Well, if you go into the top viewport, just here, okay, we can see where they're probably not quite right. So I'm just going to select the ball. So select by polygon. Okay, and I'm going to stick an FFD on these. So FFD, and I'm just going to stick a 3x3 on, I think. Okay, and with that I can just open it out and go to my control points, and then just start moving them in. And with this one we need to create a kind of a cup shape. Okay, so I'm just going to move it and move this up as well, and you'll notice that we get this kind of bent in shape here because we want our oar to be like when you cup your hand. You know, imagine when you're a kid and you're putting water in your hand to drink. Okay, right click, convert to editable poly, perspective and zoom. Now let's have a look at this shape and see if we can't refine it just a teeny bit more, eh? So I'm going to swift loop it, and I'm going to do one here and here, and then if I zoom in a bit I can start just really adjusting our shapes a bit here. Okay, and then over here okay, and maybe I'm going to bulge it just a teeny bit at the side as well, not too much though, just a little bit. If you see, I'm just trying to make a kind of a more organic looking curved kind of shape here. Okay, there we go, that kind of did it. Okay, let's zoom out now and have a look at that. Not bad, not bad. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to go into my select by poly mode. I'm just going to take off the end caps, and you're probably thinking, well, why? Don't worry, it will all make sense, I promise. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all these polygons like that, and then I'm going to make a copy of this entire model by holding shift and rotating 180 degrees. Now remember, you will need angle snap on, okay, otherwise it won't rotate by 180 degrees. One moment. Right, keep adjusting my mouse. There we are. So start this at 0, hold shift, okay, 180 degrees. Very easy. Okay, now if I go into my perspective view, you can see that there's a great big awl going all the way down the side there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these together. Okay, don't worry, we're nearly done. You can always speed it up to twice normal speed, you know, if you're getting bored. And I'm going to just attach the two together. Remember, this is quite a complicated shape, so you're doing really well. Okay, now bridging tool. I'm just going to go down it, filling in these holes. So there's one there, then there's one there. Okay, and it's just good practice teaching you your mouse manipulation skills. I find it a lot easier having my mouse on a very low DPS when I'm doing this. If I have it high like this, I find it very, very hard. Okay, and then I can turn mine up to that, and it's like I'll never see my mouse again. My sons play their video games with that kind of DPS, and it just... To be fair, I was playing the Outer Worlds, and I discovered that the Outer Worlds is a lot easier to shoot at things if you've got that on, although you do lose a lot of the accuracy, which is a shame. Anyway, I'm sure that just comes with practice, and you can call me a noob if you want. Stupid newbie Chris. There we go. Right then, now I'm going to seal over that, so I'm just going to select my border and cap. And there's another border just down here which I want to cap. Okay, and if I just have a look at this down here, selecting by that, I might want to FFD it a little bit thinner, so I'm just going to go here and open up my FFD panel to control points and just do a little bit of tinkering. Now if I pull this in, you'll notice it'll make a little bit of a pig's ear of it, so I don't want to pull it in too much there. Maybe I can just move this one. Let's have a look. No, not really. It's because it hasn't got those polygons on the top, you see. Let's just undo this one. I'll just delete that, and I'll just get these in the top here as well. There we are. Make my job a little bit easier. Let's get my control points. See, it makes that much thinner at the top there, which is what I'm trying to avoid. We was reading my car yesterday. There we go. So I'm just going to bring them in a little bit. And there. Then stretch this a little. Okay, and then bring these out a teeny bit. Okay. And that way it's kind of fitting the overall shape of this quite nicely. Now I want to put a couple of pieces in here that I don't know why they're here, but I'll assume there's something to do with the ore and the way it kind of collects water and stuff like that. So right click, convert to editable poly, just clear up this space, and I'm going to go in here. Oops, there we go. And also over here, just selecting these polygons, and then I'm going to extrude them just a little bit, and then narrow them. So I'm just going to use a scale tool like that, and then I'm going to get these. To be honest, I think it's more likely that these parts are used to kind of strengthen and toughen it a little bit. Yeah, they will be, of course they are. Okay, and just here. Just bring them up like that. Maybe a bit less so that it's there, that's a bit better. It's not sci-fi, so I'm not trying to make it too darn strong. Now, where this kind of collar is that's coming over here, probably going to leave that pretty much how it is. Although, let's have a quick look. I'm just going to double click here and here, and then get these lifted a little bit. Actually, yeah, that works okay. I like that. There's a couple of weird bits just here. You see that? Where the polygon doesn't really like being split that way. But what I can do, I'll just show you a little cheat. Okay, if I select this and this and just do a connect, click tick, I'll do it on the other side as well. Then we can easily fix these broken polygons just by using the cut tool. This is all advanced stuff, by the way, so I mean, if you're following along, you're doing really well, so you should be very pleased with yourself, okay? Because most tutorials, they don't teach you how to do this, unfortunately. They're all like, oh, you know, let's remain as simpletons for our entire life. No, you want to do the fun stuff, you know? Stuff that's going to be interesting. Anyway, up to here, down to there. And don't worry about these like jaggies, okay? We're going to fix them in smooth, so that is cool. Anyway, this is just triangulation, which we can probably flip. Oops, a daisy, there we go. You can normally spin, actually no, you can only do that in, let's see. Yeah, that made it better. See that? So I selected the polygon here, and if I just do turn, I should be able to change the way that turns. Oh, I'll leave it. Actually, because I'm not dealing with an editable mesh here, so I don't want to do it that way. Right, so now we have our ore. There's a couple of little things I need to do. So if I just right click and end my isolate, you can see there is our oar. Okay, all sitting ready to be going. Make sure it's facing the right direction by doing that, 90 degrees. And we need to find kind of the center point for this. So I think I'm going to need to extend the oar a little bit. There we go. And I'll just make a copy just in case I accidentally break my oar. I'm going to just have that come over like that and find the right place for it. Now, if you're sitting here rowing, by the way, okay, the oar will be at the back here, just in case you are wondering. There we go, that's it. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my actual pivot. I want to put it all the way over here, okay, just there. Reason being, that will be the area that the oar pivots from, just on top of this. Now you'll notice this arrow is pointing upwards, so what I want to do is affect my pivot until it's pointing in the right direction again. Now I believe actually that was up, so let's do it that way. There we go. Colour blindness, grimness. Okay, back into perspective and zoom, and that looks okay. So I'm going to delete that. Make sure it's not all the way at the middle, or the boat's, well, the oar's two ends will basically crunch into each other, which is never pleasant. I don't know if you've ever rowed or not, but it's not nice. And I'm going to call this oar 001, well 01, just so we know what it is. And then I'm going to make a duplicate copy, which I'm going to do, I'm not going to turn it that way because it'll be facing back to front. I'm going to do it this way. 240 degrees, and then I just need to move this over to there, and then we have two oars that are in the right place, you see. And of course this is, as I say, how you row. You sit here and you're pulling the oars towards you, which is propelling the boat this way, so you're not really looking at where you're going, but you know, it's working out okay. Right then, so we've spent 22 minutes, we've done a lot of boat stuff, so you should be very pleased if you've been following along. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select our two oars, hit F4, you can see it's a little bit jaggy, so I am going to just apply a smooth to these, not a mesh smooth, just a smooth, okay, and auto smooth it, and maybe take, let's see, I'm just going to kind of, there, 24 will do it. Actually no, because if we look, that's still jaggy there. There, 26. I want to get rid of the faceting on that, you see. Right click, convert to editable poly, and the good thing is that you'll see that our widgets, okay, which we set up here, or pivots, or whatever you want to call them, are all set correctly, so we can do all this, you see. Or we're rowing like that, okay? So well done if you followed along this far. I'm very, very, very proud of you. Okay, that's not patronising, I really am. There's not enough good tutorials out there showing people how to actually make models, so be pleased. And remember, if you're feeling down, the captain's always here for you. So CG Pirates, come on onto the Discord. There's people there waiting who'll be happy to chat to you, give you any help you want. Till next time, take care me hearties. Yarrrrr.